free to come in a bit closer if you guys want, so you can get a proper view. It's quite hard to see when you're sitting all the way over there. Okay, so when you're bandaging, you always want to wrap in the same direction, and you want to start at the front of the leg, coming around the outside of the leg, and then to the back, and then round to the inside. And this is because when we've done all of our layers, that'll gently start to apply pressure to the tendons, and I'm okay if they're being gently pulled underneath the body, but we don't want to be pulling them outside, and we don't want our layers going in different directions because that will give us like a Chinese band effect, okay? So always in the same direction. Starting at the front of the leg, I then use this soft band first. This is really handy, especially if you've got a little dressing, because it allows you to quickly whiz down the leg with your dressing intact. And the main thing when you're doing your bandages is also you want the pressure to be even. So you try and make the layers all overlap by a similar amount. So I aim for like 30 to 50%. Then once you've done your first soft band layer, then you can get your chunky cotton wool. And again, we're going to go in the same direction. Now these cotton wools are great because they line up really well with the length of the cannon bone. So you're starting at the front of the leg, easing your way around to the back, and 2 to 3 wraps around is enough for a stabilizing bandage. If you've got a lot of swelling, I'd advise doing 3 wraps with the cotton, because that allows you to put a little bit more pressure on with your vet wrap, which is going to just provide more stability and decrease the swelling. Then with your vet wrap, like I said at the start, you never want this to go on the skin. So I always start it at the front of the leg, leaving a couple of centimeters at the top of your bandage poking out. I'm going to fix that up in a second. Now with the vet wrap, you don't want to do it as tight as possible because then you're going to be putting too much pressure on the leg, okay? I tend to unroll it about 20 centimeters and then wrap. Unroll and wrap. And I try and use my other hand as a stabilizer, because if you don't do that, you get a lot of twisting of the bandage. And you spiral your way down to the bottom of the leg. And then once you get to the bottom, leave a couple of centimeters exposed and work your way back up. Working your way back up there. And then you want to finish it off by, I call it topping and tailing. So obviously we don't want to have this exposed cotton wool here because it allows for debris to get in there. So we actually want to seal it off with this bandage here. So I use this nice orange line to help me line up where to put it. I kind of line this up with the top and the bottom of the bits of the cotton wool. Just do 3 little sections there. This is where, can someone just grab the scissors out of the top of the emergency kit? Amazing. Yeah, 2 or 3 wraps around is enough. Loads of vets, including the vets that I work with, will cover the whole leg in this dressing, but that's normally if it's only going to be staying on for 5 days or so. This is one of the most expensive bits of material in your kit, so if you want to be economical, you can literally just do the top and the bottom of your bandage.
So how many days would you leave that for if you were?
Depends on what you're dealing with. I mean, if it's a leg that's suddenly swollen, I'd be wanting to take it off the next day to see what's going on underneath.
Well,
but if you're dealing with a wound,
let's say we've got a wound.
Yeah, 5 days.
Yeah.
You can leave it
The
on
idea
for.
you've sterilised it, so you just leave it closed over now. If it's an open wound.
Well, yeah, again.
Taking the bandage on and off, you're better off just leaving it.
Yeah, you're better off leaving it on for as long as you can, because you want to avoid disrupting the wound bed. And again, if you've given the wound a clean, if it's a wound that can't be stitched, I'd bandage it, change it every 5 days. If the bandage slips, change it sooner. If it is a wound that you guys are just quickly putting something on and the vet's going to have a look at later, if there's a potential to stitch something, it's always better to stitch it, because that will make the healing time about 2 weeks, whereas an open wound can take months. So it is better.